So let's talk about the other part of your business. So you're an author, and I know I've seen you present and speak, which is so fun. But then you also have a mystery shopping company, whether it's phone shops or in-person shops, or even for people to kind of assess the customer experience on the website, right?
Right.
You can go in and you become the consumer, and I've used your services, and it's very realistic. So often my sales teams would say, I knew it was a mystery shop. When I listen to yours, I don't know that they're mystery shops. So I guess in some regards, this might be an ideal time to do that, because we don't sometimes have the time to stop and assess how our sales teams are doing, so we even know how to construct the ongoing sales trainings, what we need to reinforce. And that's what mystery shopping is all about, right? It's not an I gotcha. It's about a real assessment of strengths and weaknesses and opportunities so that we can help our teams improve. So you've done over 150,000 mystery shops. When you look back at that, what are some of the major kind of pitfalls that we can't seem to get out of our own way, that you see as the trends? Maybe both on the, probably more on the negative side, because unfortunately every time I listen to mystery shops, it's just so horrifying. I have a hard time getting through them. But then, are there some things that you're seeing that might give us hope?
Yeah, thanks, Deb, for bringing up that service, and this definitely isn't a sales platform by any stretch, but yeah, we have conducted a lot of mystery shops. We do work, pretty exclusively in the senior living space, and that's something we actually do take a lot of pride in. Yeah, and as we've gone through and we've conducted so many, like I said, over 150,000, and that's probably just phone shops. The web shops are great because normally a basic client would do like web, phone, and in-person. And in-person could be unrecorded, it could be recorded if you want audio recorded, and some even video recorded. But the web shops are nice just because you get that speed to lead. You get to find out how quickly our sales counselors really responding to the lead. Now, I'm not talking about these auto-generated emails, because I personally just I feel about those like I feel about inquiry sheets. There's nothing personalized about them. And as a matter of fact, we don't even count that as when we're doing our speed to lead, our web shops, as a contact. Our contact is, hey, when does somebody actually send a personalized email back to us? But yeah, we have learned a whole lot, and one thing that we've done, and you talked about lost leads a few minutes ago. What we've learned in doing lost leads and through mystery shops and all that is that we typically, as an industry, will lose 70 to 80% of our deals over the phone, and we just threw out that number, $400, $500, $600 for a lead. And my thought when I started hearing those numbers, I thought to myself years ago, like, we pay commissions and we pay bonuses based on your occupancy or what your closing ratios are. Like, what if we deducted from your paycheck when you lost those leads, right? And you salespeople, I brought
now you're
that up.
Scaring people, Mike.
Yeah. I brought that up at a conference, and I thought people were going to throw tomatoes at me, right? But like, obviously that's not ideal. We'd never do that. But what if we actually just started thinking like that? Because and here's why we lose so many. A prospect will call 8 to 10 communities, but they're only going to go visit 2 to 3. So when they get off that phone, even when they're on the phone, when they get off that phone, they've got this list of 10 communities, and their goal is to mark communities off their list, because they got to get that 10 down to about 2 or 3. Nobody's going to go visit 10 communities. They want to visit 2 to 3 communities. So when they get off that phone, they're looking for a reason to mark you off the list, not for a reason to actually come and visit your community. So yeah, you've got to do something different, and that on the web is important, much more important than it was 10 years ago. If those leads are coming in organically through the web and through these paid leads, you have to build some type of rapport, if you will, through your web, and even with your phone calls. I hear, when the whole business of recording all phone calls coming in came in, you know, um, people's like, are you going to lose business? And to me, I thought, no, I'm not going to lose business. And the difference, I think those are great. As a matter of fact, that's a service that we provide. We provide that same service. You can record and track your marketing and see where these dollars are going. But what you don't get out of that is the customer experience. What our shoppers will do by providing mystery shopping is you get that recorded call, but they're also going to have this customized questionnaire that the clients are going to come up with that's going to gauge the customer experience. It's kind of like, I like to use the analogy of, if you've ever gone to an interview, a job interview, and you walked out of there thinking, man, I just knocked it out of the park. Yet you never got a call back, or you never got that second interview, and you're wondering what happened. Like, I thought I did such a great job. Our perception of when we listen to these calls and the prospect's perception is completely different, and perception is reality. So we do need to think about those deals that we're actually losing and how we're handling calls. Now, if I can geek out for a few minutes and just share some stats that for me kind of like just blow my mind, and I think it blows other people's minds whenever we share these stats with us. But this is just phone shops. This is not the in-person shops. But here's what we found, and I'll just throw out about 4 of them. That 15% of the time, it took 10 or more calls to actually speak to a sales counselor. Now, I think only 15% of the time, but that's 15 prospects out of 100. And if you think about 15 prospects, and just say that half of those would be generous, say half of those would actually come in for a tour. So you got like 7 of them, and 1 or 2 might actually convert into a move. That's a lot of lost leads that you're losing just because your salespeople are not available to answer the phone. They need to be there. They need to answer their phones. They need to return voicemails quickly. Another stat, 90% of questions that are asked by sales counselors are closed-end questions. And a lot of these are off inquiry sheets. A lot of them are because we're trying to qualify or trying to validate, or, what are their ADLs? Do they even qualify for even being in here? Financially, are they qualified? But it is impossible. We're talking about building rapport here maybe in a little bit, but it's impossible to build rapport if you're not asking open-ended questions. There's a place for closed-end questions, but I would say that 90% of your questions should be open-ended and maybe 10 should be closed. But it's the complete opposite right now. We talk about the 80-20 rule. I like to give sales counselors the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, let's just shoot for the 70-30, where you're listening 70% of the time and you're talking 30% of the time. Well, 98% of sales counselors talk more than 70% of the time during the phone call. 98. So there's about 2% of you out there that are actually doing that, and that 2% may only be talking 60 or 50%, but almost everybody is talking. And the reason why is because they're asking these closed-in questions, and they don't give the prospect the opportunity to actually open up and answer a question with more than 1 or 2 words. And the last statistic I'll share, and I have a number of them, but 45% of the time the shopper was asked to visit the community in the first 2 minutes of the call. And I've heard I've heard leadership, and you've probably heard it. You probably heard leadership like, hey, the goal is to get them coming for a tour. Do that as quickly as possible. But if you're sitting there and you're in 2 minutes and you're calling and say, hey, I want some information about your community, and you throw out something about, yeah, this is our community, this is what we have, and you should go visit our website. And by the way, we really can't give our community justice. You really need to come in to visit to really get the true experience. If you give me 2 minutes of your time and others are giving me 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes of their time, immediately what's coming to my mind is you don't care enough. My time's not valuable enough for you to spend a few minutes to get to know about my situation, about what's going on in my life, and where I need the help.
Wow, those are really disturbing.
Yes, that's the word I was going to use, disturbing.